Gary Shamel back, host of Growth Quest Podcast. We're going to do another reaction video today. My reaction videos, I'm learning how to do it, all right? So be a little patient with me. And I was really, extremely tired because I was up all day trying to create content, trying to think of what I'm going to do next, how I'm going to reinvigorate myself and all that other stuff. And I was up to 1 in the morning trying to figure out how to do that reaction video and how to do it the right way. And you can very obviously see it, but I uploaded it anyway, so I don't care. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's the reaction to the Impractical Jokers bad parenting skills. So this morning we're going to do 5 parenting styles and their effects on life. Okay, and you already know, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you like things like this, it'll keep encouraging me to do more of it. Also, you can leave comments down in the bottom. What's your type of parenting style? What you agree with as well, what you don't agree with about the video. And also, you can suggest videos for me to watch as well. You can find me on TikTok at Growth Quest Podcast, on Instagram, Growth Quest Podcast. I just restarted that Instagram. I have no followers yet on there. Reinvigorating myself. So let's get on to this and see what the parenting styles are.
In theory, there are only 4 styles of parenting. Authoritarian parents are controlling and demand obedience without considering the child's point of view. Permissive parents are loving but don't exert any control. There are no rules. Authoritative parents are firm but loving. They encourage independence within limits. Neglecting parents are uninvolved and often uninterested in their own child.
See, I'm watching this and I already see what type of parent that I am. And I fall into the authoritative parenting style. So I'm not going to let you, I'll give you a little bit of rope, but I'm not going to give you enough rope in order to let you hang yourself with it. I will quickly come back. No, we ain't doing that.
Recently, a 5th style was proposed, but we will come back to that later. The styles range from controlling and demanding to complete freedom, and from cold and unresponsive to loving and receptive. Each authoritative, permissive, authoritarian, and neglectful parents have their place. To understand what it means to grow up with parents from each end of the spectrum, we can imagine the lives of 4 children. Sarah's parents are authoritarian. They love their girl, but they believe that strict rules are important to make Sarah become well-behaved and fit into society. If Sarah cries, she's told to stop. If she talks back, she is sent to the corner for time out. If she forgets to take care of her chores around the house, she is not allowed to play with her toys.
That's common sense. All of that except for the first one. If you're crying, there could very much well be something wrong. So you do have to tend to your child if you find them in an emotional area where they seem sad or something might have gotten them down. But the rest of it, if you were told to do something and you talk back, that is completely disrespectful. I'm sorry. And that's not authoritarian in nature. You cannot sit there, and you have to have a certain respect for authority figures, all right? Because you're not going to talk back to your boss. You'll get fired. You're not going to talk back to a cop. We all see what happens when you talking smack to cops, all right? It's all in how you handle a situation. You have to handle every situation that you in with tact. And that's what you have to teach your children. They have to handle situations with tact. If I tell you to do something, you can go ahead and go on to do it. And then when you come back later, we can conversate about it. And I can get your opinion on the matter, and you can get my opinion on the matter. We can go back and forth. And either I'm going to handle it a different way next time, or I'm going to stick to my guns and we're going to do it how. That's not authoritarian. Let me go back. Let's re-listen to the list again.
Play with her toys. As to take care of her chores around the house, she is not allowed to play with her toys. Sarah learns that suppressing her emotions and following her duties is the way to get through the day. To get the love of her parents and to avoid making them upset, she becomes obedient.
You know what's funny? It's not even about getting the love of your parents and trying not to make them upset in order to get obedience. A lot of times when parents are trying to provide direction is because they're trying to teach their kids exactly what they're going to need to know in order for them to grow up and, like they said in the beginning of the video, pretty much exist in society. And you're going to run into authority figures when you're in society. People are going to ask you to do things. People are going to tell you to do things. There's certain things you're going to be expected to do. And it's not about hiding your emotions. We all have emotions. But again, it's intact and how you bring up those emotions.
However, because Sarah was never allowed to decide for herself or follow her intrinsic interests, as an adult, she doesn't know what she really wants. She begins living a life that seems perfect to her parents and society, but might leave her unhappy on the inside. Permissive parents, like those of Peter, enjoy their little boys so much that they believe they should fulfill all his wishes, give him full freedom, and never say no. Peter enjoys full control over his parents and gets whatever he wants. If he doesn't want to walk, he'll be carried. If he wants ice cream he gets. If he wants to play games, he'll be playing them all night. Peter grows up completely without borders and does whatever he thinks is right. He never coped with conflict, and he did not learn to control his emotions. The fact that he always got what he wanted made him a bad loser. As he grows older, he often acts inconsiderate and doesn't know his limits. Arthur's authoritative parents respect their...
So I've seen plenty of parents like this. I'd be on the phone with a homeboy or something like that, and it's whatever time at night, right? Like say it's at 10 o'clock at night. No, I'm not just sitting on the phone with a grown man at 10 o'clock at night, but sometimes you just happen to have to say something or need something, and you chop it up, right? And it's 10 o'clock at night on a Thursday, and I hear these little kids running around in the background. I'm like, yo, don't they got school in the morning? Like, yeah, but they normally go to sleep at like midnight, 1 in the morning anyway. Like, what, do you have trouble waking them up? I know, long story short, I know a few parents that's like this. They pretty much let their kids run around and run them up and then talk about how they out of control or whatever. I mean, obviously, you got to take control of the situation. They're still kids.
Their child's needs, but believe that kids need freedom within certain limits. Arthur can freely play, but when he's done, he needs to help tidy up.
Exactly.
He is allowed to eat ice cream, but only on Sundays.
Exactly.
Screen time is limited to 30 minutes a day. Then...
Nah, I don't do that 30 minutes a day, though. At all. I usually try to limit screen time, but you have to be like really, and there's so much that you want to get done. You have to be right there with kids, depending on their age, to entertain them and make sure they thoroughly entertain. If you can't just send them outside, you know what I mean? Get out my house.
May be conflict, but the parents listen to what Arthur has to say and then lay down the rules. Arthur learns that some things are difficult, but his parents give him all the support he needs to get through it. He develops the strength to endure hardships and to continue following his interests and passions. In class, he bravely expresses his own opinions in an appropriate manner.
See, it's all intact. It's all about how you do it. It's all about how you approach the situation. This is the one I fall under, 100%.
During breaks, he can show his emotions and act freely. As an adult, he agrees to rules only after they have been discussed and he feels like he understands them. Neglectful parents are usually not
Now, what's weird is so I think me and my wife, we differ on parenting styles, right? I think she has an authoritative nature, but she leans toward the more permissive side. Because, like I said, there's so much stuff to do throughout the day and to get done, and so much business that needs to be handled, and our visions and our goals align, and where we want to see ourselves in the future, as far as business and stuff goes, you know. So what she'll tend to do is kind of focus and hone in over here and want to get all of this stuff done and handle business, and the kids will be running amok, and she'll say something, she'll say something, and they'll be like, screw it. So then that leaves me to have to step up and look like the bad guy, and they're like, if mom ain't saying nothing, why are you over here saying something? But neither one of us are neglectful at all. But I'm way more authoritative than I am permissive, and I'm definitely not an authoritarian.
present in their children's life. Nora often feels completely alone in the world. She experiences full freedom to do anything she wants to and has plenty of imagination, but she never receives any feedback or even attention. Nora realizes that it doesn't matter what she does because no one cares anyway. The lack of attention leads to a lack of trust in herself and others. She becomes insecurely attached, unable to form healthy relationships.
Yeah, I was about to say that's how you raise a daughter that's gonna end up on OnlyFans or searching for love in all of the wrong places and not sure how to develop an emotional bond and an emotional attachment with the people around them. And sons too. You grow up with a son, or you raise a son and you raise them neglectfully. That's how you come up with. And I don't really believe in the term toxic masculinity, because you can have toxic femininity as well, because there's always a equal, balance in the world. But that's how you come up with toxic people that don't know how to develop bonds. They get hurt. They say they wipe it off the first few times, and then it's okay. They take all of that toxicity that they've gotten from childhood into their adult relationships, and then they start to spew it out on other people.
And develops a negative image of herself. To stop feeling unworthy of love, she tries not to feel anything at all.
Yeah, see? I already said it before he even got to it.
In recent years, over-involved parents who are present in every aspect of their child's life are often referred to as the fifth style. These parents are also known as snowplows, removing obstacles out of their kids' path, or helicopter parents who hover about and micromanage every aspect of their child's life. Since they won't let their children do anything alone, the children can't learn to overcome challenges by themselves. Research infers that these children don't like to solve difficult problems, lack perseverance, and may even procrastinate in protest when something requires a lot of effort.
See, my thing though with that is, and I've said it on one of my episodes on the podcast, is you have to be involved in your child's life. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to be the one of the parents that shows up every so often. Of course, not every lunch break, but if feasible, shows up on a lunch break once or twice a month, or every quarter, whatever, to their school. The parent who actually checks their homework, the parent who goes over their homework with them, because you have to show that you are dedicated to their progression forward in life. And when they do need help, you have to be willing to step in and help them. But you're not feeding them. You are letting them figure it out while guiding them through it.
Since most research on parenting is based on self-reports and was done in the US and Europe, it is not clear how strongly the observed effects will hold up in controlled observational experiments or in other parts of the world. The 4 parenting styles were first introduced by psychologist Diana Baumrind. For good parenting, she advised balance of demandingness and responsiveness. Add to that the wise words of Maria Montessori to never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed, and parents should do pretty well. What do you think? Should parents resort to a specific style, or should they decide what's best to do in a given situation?
Definitely decide what's best to do in a given situation. You know what I mean? Everything happens on a sliding scale. Sometimes I can know one of my kids did something and I'll hold on to it for a little bit. I won't say anything. And then once it comes up, like, hey, you did this, you did that. After you did that, you did another thing, and you did a 4th thing. I haven't said anything up to now. And they'll look at the first 2 things and be like, oh, no, that never happened. I'm like, nope. This was the situation. You're going to look at me in my face and you're going to tell me that didn't happen. I dare you to say it. Second thing, right? You know that happened. So now, as a response to you not getting your act together, because I was giving you chances and chances and chances to get your act together, now this is what's going to happen. And this is the direction we're going to go from here. So obviously, it depends on the situation. To me, that's a little bit more of the permissive type. When you're like, all right, they did it. I didn't really like it. Like, whatever, I'm not going to say anything. All right, they did it. I didn't really like it. And then they just get, let me know if you disagree with that, or if you have done or been in situations like that as well, where you kind of let things go and then it just came to a head and you had to squash it. Or if you're one of the types of parents that squashes it as soon as you see it happen.
As long as they don't neglect or abuse their child. To download this video without background music and learn more about the topic, visit sproutschools.com.
I guess we're done. You heard the website that you can visit. So, long story short, I think it was a pretty good video to learn the types of styles of parenting. If you are becoming a parent, meaning if you are pregnant, this is a perfect time to sit down with your significant other or your baby daddy or your sperm donor, whatever you want to call them, right? And spark that conversation and say, what type of parenting style do you currently see yourself having? Because once you're thrust into the mix of it, you quickly realize that what you thought, the parent you thought you were going to be, is not necessarily the parent that you are, right? I always used to make fun of myself and say I'm going to be like Adam Sandler and Big Daddy. I knew daggone well that wasn't going to happen, all right? But there was like a little bit of a romanticness to it, and not meaning in a romantic way as far as couples, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying. But yeah, this is a great conversation sparker, so that you know and you're on the same page as your child ages and progresses through life, and it's something that you constantly have to bring back up. All right, this is where we're at. When he was 2 and going through his terrible 2s, this is how we handled it. Now he's a lot more calm. How are we going to handle punishments? Do you want to do spankings? Do you want to do timeouts? Do you want to do like whatever? However you want to handle it. No judgment, as long as you're doing it tactfully and the punishment fits the crime. No judgment. But yeah, just conversate about it and know where you're at, so that doesn't become a tension later on in your relationship. Because trust me, that can become one of the tensions in a relationship, how the opposite parent chooses to deal with the kids.
For a free month.
Yeah, that's it. So overall, pretty good video, pretty good conversational style. so that you can figure out together what your parenting style is, and to figure out on your own how you want to deal with your children and what you want to avoid. Keep in mind, like I said, everything is on a sliding scale. So sometimes you're going to have to slide from being the authoritative parent, to being the authoritarian parent. Because sometimes you're just going to have to put your foot down and no, that's not going to happen. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to handle it. This is what I expect to come from it. And if I don't see that happen, then this is what's going to be the outcome. And everything except for well, no, I can even see a situation you can use the neglectful side for it. If you know you have a child that's, I wouldn't say overly emotional, but you know you have a child that reacts emotionally to every single thing that happens, sometimes you might just have to ignore it. Like if you have the child that cries when their favorite TV show goes off, or they missed its favorite TV show, yeah, the first time you can say, it's okay. It'll come back on again tomorrow, little Johnny. How about if I search it for you on YouTube? And then when the phone dies, they throw the phone and they go into another hissy fit. Eventually, you're going to get pretty fed up with it and you're going to start ignoring it. So everything that's, you don't have to stick to one in particular. You can choose the given situation and slide up and down the scale. But more often than not, when I'm not doing my little slide and pivot, okay, I'm there on the authoritative side of parenting. Once again, Gary Shamel, host the Growth Quest podcast. This has been another reaction, my second official reaction. Thank you for watching. Hit the like and the subscribe button down below, and I will see you on the next go round.